You know, life delivers opportunities. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who you are. And Alan Bierman, it doesn't matter how old you are. Life delivers opportunities. I met Peter Kageyama when I was 65 years old. And it was because of Peter Kageyama I wrote this book. Let me tell you a little bit about him. But first I'll tell you how I got to know him. My wife and I participated in Leadership Lincoln's executive series. Now, usually when people are in the executive series, they're new executives in town. I had lived here for 30 years. Usually people in the executive series are young executives just joining the executive ranks. I had been an executive with Nelnet for quite a few years. In fact, when I asked Tim Tavis if I could participate, he said, "Randy, you're about to retire and you're way older than most of the people are." I said, "I don't care. I want to do that anyway." Well, at the end of that year, Peter Kageyama came to Lincoln. He's from St. Petersburg, Florida. And he's written a book called For the Love of Cities. And in that book, he talks about emotional connections that we get in our cities. And he talks about how people, when they have an emotional connection, that it gives you all kinds of opportunities for economic development. It gives you opportunities for social development and certainly for community development. He talks about people that have an emotional connection with their city give the city its personality. Think about Lincoln and the personality that our city has. And those people give the city its heartbeat. So that's who's in this book, the people that I've met in Lincoln. As I did interviews with people to write these various stories, I saw people that knew something needed to be done, and they did it. They're called co-creators. I met people who were in love with this city, and they are doing something. They're in leadership of one form or another. And I also met some people who boomeranged back, grew up here, moved away, and came back. In this book, I have highlighted a number of people that I want to tell you about today. The first is Jody Wilbur. Let me just read a few passages here. For years, I drove in and out of the parking garage in downtown Lincoln. I'd tap my horn, I'd wave at Jody. I had a pass, so I didn't even have to stop and pay her. And then I retired, so I had to start paying, for the parking. And those 10 and 15-second conversations I had with Jody, I noticed that she was always knitting. "What are you knitting?" I said. She said, "Well, Randy, there are homeless people in Lincoln, and I know because I was homeless once that they need mittens, they need hats, they need scarves." So that's what Jody was making. So that's Jody Wilbur. She's a co-creator. Another person I want to tell you about, let me just read this. You know, it's not natural, it's not that unusual to grow up in Nebraska and leave to chase your dream. Kirsten Swanson Wilder grew up in Lincoln, graduated from Lincoln Southeast High School, received a degree from the College of Journalism, Sherry, at UNL, and then she jumped in her car and headed to Florida. Then she met a guy on the West Coast and moved over to the West Coast, and she spent years working for a Variety magazine. Well, she's here with us today, and I asked her to come share a few words. Kirsten Wilder, come up and share a few words of how you found Lincoln since you've moved back.
Hello, it is so nice to be in Spaghetti Works, where I went on many first dates when I grew up in the 80s here, so I just gotta love that. People can put a salad bar over there.
Make sure we've got the mic. You have the mic. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Ready? Now are you ready? To hear about the Spaghetti Works salad bar that used to So no, I grew up here. I left. I worked in California for 25 years covering Hollywood. And then the siren call of my alma mater was too much to pass up in my hometown. My mother still lives here, my sister. So I applied for a job on a whim at the Alumni Association. They were looking for a new editor of their magazine after 45 years. And so in the cover of Night, I flew here and interviewed for a job. Ultimately, Keith Zaborowski's wife hired me. I saw him here earlier. And so that's what I do. And it is so great to be back, I will tell you. I had an amazing career, but it was hard as I aged and got married and had kids to spend my time with that job all of the time. So Lincoln affords me, I tell people I took this job to buy time to spend with my kids. I have 2 daughters in high school now. We've been back for about 5 years. And so it is a pleasure to get to be their mom. They're in marching band and in the theater at Lincoln Southwest. So I spend a lot of my extra time doing that instead of sitting on the freeways of Los Angeles. So it is great to be home.
Thank you very much. I'll pay the fun fine. This is the Alumni magazine, and it is a must-read at my house. I read every story in it, and it is just really good. So pick one up. Yeah, if anybody wants one, she has one.
Hey, Summer Magazine is going off cycling. This was the fall one today, yesterday. I moved on.
There are 6 members of our club that are in this book. Ryan and Erin Dobish are among them. Maggie Stuckey Ross. Now, Maggie texted me. She's actually watching on Zoom. Hi, Maggie. She's out at Pioneers Park doing something today, but she's in the book. And Diane Timmy Stinson is in the book. And this guy who's made Lincoln his home 3 different times. And finally, the 3rd time was a charm. He's learned to answer when opportunity calls. Cowboy, that's the name I've given to Chuck Schroeder. Cowboy first came to Lincoln from Palisade when he was a student at UNL. Then he headed back to the ranch. About 10 years later, life gave him an opportunity. And he came back to Lincoln to be the assistant director of the Department of Agriculture. Then he went on to the National Cattlemen's Association. And after that, he moved on to the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. That's down in Oklahoma City. And then Ronnie Green. Ronnie's in Ireland right now. I saw a picture of him with a kilt on this morning. Anyway, Ronnie, he was chancellor of the Institute for Agriculture at the time. And J.B. Milligan, you may remember J.B., he was president of the university at the time. They called Chuck and they said, would you come back and head the Rural Futures Institute? That was the 3rd time. And the guy's still here and he's a member of our club. Hey, Chuck. Hey, cowboy. I want to tell you now about a woman that inspires me. Let me read just a couple of words about her. Let's say you're from Chicago, one of the largest cities in America, and you decide to attend the University of Nebraska, one of the more sparsely populated states in the United States. Or you're from Texas, and you land in Lincoln at the University of Nebraska, and you add to this the fact that you're a black man from Chicago, or you're a young Latino woman from Texas, and you're attending a predominantly white institution. Well, it's young men and women like this that Dr. Colleen Jones seeks to help through the Melvin Jones Scholar Community at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. And she is a co-creator. She saw a need and she fulfilled it. Rika Zavala is a member of our club. He is Director of Services for Cedars. He's on the board of the Bridge, the Nebraska Juvenile Justice Association, the Norris Baseball Association, the Nebraska Coalition for Juvenile Justice, and he coaches youth sports. This guy just never sits down. And he was a Leadership Lincoln participant a couple of years ago. He and his wife met as students at UNL. Did you ever sing the song, "The Wheels on a Bus Go Round and Round"? How about the alphabet song? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Just thinking about those brings back memories, doesn't it? Puts a smile on your face. Well, Jim King retired from the University of Nebraska. He taught there for 20 years, taught leadership and communication skills. But he's a co-creator. He said, you know what? Kids need some excitement in their birthday parties, so I'm going to go sing for kids. That's what he does in retirement. He grew up in the time of folk music, as I did. He's almost my age. You're a little bit younger than I am, but he grew up in the folk music era, and he plays the guitar, the banjo, and the ukulele. And this is Jim King, if you haven't guessed already, and I asked him to come and to lead you in a song and put a little smile on your face, because this is a dour group.
Actually, Randy was wrong on several counts there, and I'm not going to lead you in a song.
Excuse me.
Thank you, Rotary people, for having me, and Randy, thank you very much. Being in Randy's book has been great for me. Oh gosh, I'm really horrible with mics.
We've got to mic you though, so our Zoomers can hear
That's
you.
why I play for little kids, and I don't do birthday parties. That's the worst thing in the entire world. In fact, the little kids, your kids left. Where are they? This is what happens. I'll get into other stories, but when I was in high school, we were playing, and everybody started leaving the gig, and I was so hurt. You know, they were throwing nickels and dimes up, but there had been a fire in town. I lived in a small town in southern Indiana. Everybody went to see the fire. They didn't care about the band. So playing, okay. So what I wanted to do is just kind of give you what I call participatory pandemonium. I usually sit on the ground, play for the kids, and some of the stuff, start this. Some of the stuff you can all do too. And for grandparents and parents and stuff, you don't even need any music. And I steal all my stuff, by the way. I know I am not too original, but some of the speech pathologists, la, 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 la. That 0 to 5, the little kids get into this la, la. And so it's mama, mama. But I'd encourage you men to start the da-da stuff. We got to have babies and young kids saying da-da before mama. I know what that, I understand that. And I tried with my kids to do sir, but that didn't work. But la, 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 la. And my kids like, dog, 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 and they like that kind of stuff. Okay, so the la la song. Now, Randy talked about bus. The bus has wipers on it, the bus has a driver, the bus has a door. Oh, the wheels of the bus go round and round, round and round and round. Okay, that's good. But now, for contemporary stuff, there are also teenagers on the bus, right? The teenagers on the bus go text, 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 text. Oh my gosh, and it goes on and on, so you can play with that one a lot. There are a lot of things on the bus, obviously. And little kids, of course, like the idea. I didn't know about this, but oh, the wheels of the bus. Oh, wait a minute. The bus has to get back to the station. There's something wrong. Can we go faster? Yeah, let's go faster. Okay. What happens if we're going through town and we see a red light? Okay, so are you ready? Okay, so the wheels of the bus go round and round, round and round and round. Red light. Green light, round and round, round and round, round and round. Okay, you got that. There are other songs that are simple, just really one word, cute one from a group. Oh, water balloon, water, 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 water balloon. Water balloon, water, water. Okay, we've done that. And now I played at Tabitha for a while in some of the dementia units around town. And here I am. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I changed water balloon to this because I had just had one. Oh, colonoscopy, colonoscopy, colonoscopy. And one of the people in one of the green units had just gone through, and he was a former teacher at Lincoln High in math, and he made a poem and a whole series of things, Andy. It's so great. Okay, so what else goes on in my life? Here you have to finish this. You have to, it's a little problem for you. I'm a bird, I'm a bird, I'm a bird, I'm a bird. I'm a bird and I peck at wood. Woodpecker. I'm a bird, I'm a bird, I'm a bird, I'm a bird. I'm a bird and I'm America's bird. Eagle, yeah. I'm a gull, I'm a gull, I'm a gull, I'm a gull. I'm a gull who lives by the sea. I'm a gull, I'm a gull, I'm a gull, I'm a gull, I'm a gull who lives by the bay. There's some adult stuff thrown in there. Okay. Okay. Now, there's all sorts of things, of course, for rock and roll or for kids, watermelon, peanut butter, those kind of things. And I've just discovered another one. I mean, when I went to look for this, there are so many songs on this topic. Shocked that I didn't think about this before. Poop in the potty, poop goes in the potty, poop in the potty, poop goes in the potty. Not on your brother, not on your sister, not in any family member. You might want to make a list. Not in the yard, you're on your honor. Don't go getting ideas from the neighbor's Weimaraner. Poop in the pot. Okay, poop in the pot. I like puzzles. Are we still okay? Yeah. I like puzzles. So, again, this is a little puzzle. You just have to yell out the answer. So, guess who comes on Christmas Eve? Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve. Guess who comes on Christmas Eve? It must be. Guess whose beard is long and white? Santa Claus. Guess whose suit is red and white? Santa. Guess who has a blinking red nose? Very good. People frequently say Santa. Santa doesn't have a red nose at Christmas. It's after Christmas. Okay. Now we can use some rhythm. We will, we will. We will, we will. We will, we will eat our broccoli. We will wash our face. We will walk the dog. All those things you want your kids to do, there you go. You can do that real quickly. And I just like to thank you all for putting up with this. Thank you very much, Randy. And everybody's got a sponsor, and so here's mine, and you'll know when to go. Oh, prune juice makes you wanna move your caboose. If you don't drink it, you're a silly goose. Get loose with prune juice. Get loose with prune juice. Got it.
All right.
I didn't even do my 5 minutes.
I knew I was going to give a boring talk, so I thought that would add a little excitement toward the end. You know, I've talked about life giving you opportunities, and the opportunity it's given me is to meet people, interview them, and write stories about them. The opportunity for Kirsten is to come back to Lincoln and edit a major magazine, or to Jody to knit for the homeless here in Lincoln. And Chuck and his art, thank you very much for that. And for Colleen and helping the minority students at the University of Nebraska. And of course, Jim. Gave Jim an opportunity to sing to old people like us about prune juice. There's one more person I didn't introduce that had a hand in this book, and he's sitting over there. Raise your hand, Mark. Mark Schwaniger is an editor at the Lincoln Journal-Star, and I have made the joke that if I sent him a grocery list, he'd probably publish it, because he always writes me back, Randy, that's a great story, and then it shows up in the paper a few days later. So Mark Schwaniger, thank you very, very much. Well, I hope I opened your eyes to life's possibilities. Remember, it doesn't matter where you are. You could be in Lincoln, Nebraska, or you could be in Ireland. It doesn't matter who you are, and it certainly doesn't matter how old you are. There are possibilities, and I hope the next time life presents you with a possibility that you jump up and chase after it. Thank you very much.